Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm just going to give it another minute or so to wait for all the attendees to join us, and then we can kick off this afternoon's webinar. I would just like to ask someone in the meantime to just pop me a comment in the chat box so that I can just be sure that you're all able to hear me properly and can also see my screen. Okay, great. So welcome all to today's webinar, and thank you so much for joining me on this Friday afternoon. I hope you all had a good week, and hopefully this is the last academic bit you have left before the weekend. So today's webinar is titled Hitting the Ground Running with Autodesk BIM 360, and our learning objective will be understanding how to administer a BIM 360 account site and also a BIM 360 design project. Just a quick introduction of myself. I'm Anine Nota, and I'm a BIM specialist here at Baker Baines in the AEC built environment. I'm also a qualified professional architect, and I completed my studies at the University of the Free State, where after I worked full-time as an architect for seven years. I recently joined Baker Baines in August 2020, so you guys are officially my first audience. Having a look at the agenda for today, I'll give you a short introduction of Baker Baines, who we are and what we do. I'll then give you a brief overview of BIM 360 design and how it fits into the BIM 360 platform. We will also look at the various account roles, how to add and also entitle users. Under BIM 360, we will look at the difference between account and project admins, permission levels between the two admins, and then also a visual workflow of setting up BIM 360 design. We will then head over to the project setup, where we will talk about starting a project, assigning project admins, adding users, the different folder permissions, folder creation, and also assigning teams. To wrap up, we will look at administering best practices for BIM 360 design, and we will end off with a list of useful resources and links. I'll also then allow for an opportunity to ask some questions afterwards. So who is Baker Baines? Baker Baines has evolved over the past 5 years from being an Autodesk reseller to a consulting company striving to solve our customers' problems through digital transformation. Ultimately, our intention is to help you design and make a better world. Our service offerings include business process improvement consulting, survey and design hardware and consulting, design software consulting, as well as a blended learning approach. And this is how we believe our customers can or should digest information. The survey and design hardware consulting is quite an exciting new area for us, where we use Topcon and Leica hardware to really provide you with a scan to BIM solution. Now, for those of you who've had an experience in having to measure and draw up existing building work, you may know how dreadful it can be, and also, yeah, this is quite life-changing. So the industries Baker Baines Consulting are the built environment, civil, energy, manufacturing, and also process plant and mining. So as we're talking about BIM 360 today, it's worth mentioning that apart from the built environment, it can also be used for civil and process plant. So our consulting methodology, called the iAdopt, is Baker Baines' unique approach to ensure successful digital transformation. So with this, we help our clients adopt technology and processes within the architecture, engineering, construction, infrastructure, manufacturing, and process plant industries. We work with your people, your processes, and technologies, with the focus really being on problem solving. So our iAdopt is a holistic approach which extends well beyond just the code environment. Change management and also optimized business processes, for instance, are just some of the many benefits that we offer. Okay, so before we jump into the detail, let's have a quick look at BIM 360 design, since this is what we're going to be focusing on in terms of project administration. Okay, so BIM 360 design is a cloud-based work sharing, design collaboration, and data management project for faster project delivery, and it's built onto the new BIM 360 cloud platform. In more simple terms, it gives Revit users the mechanism to share and collaborate on projects across multiple disciplines, regions, time zones, and offices, or even internally inside of Revit. It is purpose-built for AEC, and only BIM 360 design supports real-time co-authoring in Revit, virtual design review in 2D or 3D, and also visual version compare in a controlled and collaborative cloud-based environment. It further offers tracking, issue management, deliverable coordination, unlimited storage, and also enable a streamlined connection to pre-construction workflows. So how does the BIM 360 design work with the other BIM 360 offerings? BIM 360 Docs is the base for all the other modules in the BIM 360 platform. BIM 360 design then supports collaborative design authoring. BIM 360 Coordinate supports pre-construction workflows, and it also includes model coordination and automatic clash detection. With BIM 360 Builds, you can manage RFIs, daily logs, and also snag lists, and it supports the handover and operations phase. So in essence, BIM 360 design includes 3 items: controlled cloud work sharing in Revit, or what we used to call collaboration for Revit. Secondly, the document management module on the BIM 360 platform. And then thirdly, the design collaboration module. Now that we have an idea of what BIM 360 design is, let's look at account roles and entitlements. So we will start by having a look at the Autodesk accounts, to ensure that you as the user have access to the BIM 360 software. Now there's 3 primary roles in any Autodesk software offering. It's the contract manager, the software coordinators, and also the named users. Now the contract manager, acting as the primary admin, is so named as they are typically the individual who signed on the dotted line. So every bit of software access which is granted starts here. They can add and remove users, they can make changes to users' benefits, they can assign software coordinators, they can access contract renewal and billing information, and also access subscription benefits. That is, submit a case. The software coordinators, who act as the secondary admins, are really like mini contract managers. They have the ability to add and remove users and also make changes to named user benefits, but they don't have access to the other capabilities of the contract manager. And then lastly, the named users are the people who are given access to various subscription benefits or software titles. Essentially, they are the ones who get the stuff done. So in the Autodesk accounts, admins can add new users within the user management interface. So by clicking the Add button, a user info dialog will pop up. And this is where you need to fill out the email addresses and also the username. You also have the option to assign products at this point, or you can edit access later. Just note that there is more information on the Autodesk Knowledge Network about this, or alternatively, our support desk is available to assist you with this. So when we look at entitling users, you can assign products and services to users as needed. So entitlement simply means having assigned access to products or services. For BIM 360 design entitlement, you will select the user, then you will select edit access and select BIM 360 design. Being selective in the assigned services is quite a good idea, since not all users will need access to collaboration for Civil 3D or Plant 3D, for example. Okay, so now that we had a brief overview, we will be talking within BIM 360, and for the next section, the BIM 360 roles. So there are two types of roles. The one is the account or hub level roles and also the project roles. Simply put, the account admins are responsible for managing the account site, and then the project admins are responsible for the administrative functions of the project. So one major difference is that the account admins can see all the projects, whereas the project admins can only see the projects that they are part of. The account admin is responsible for creating the project and also activating services. And then the project admin can add and remove users and also set permissions. So if we look at the next chart, this is a list of comparison between the various tasks and functions of the account admin and the project admin. Note, for instance, that the project admin cannot delete companies or projects. Looking at account admins, it is advisable that you add a second account admin, and that's quite important for practical reasons, should one account admin not be available. You can do this in the account admin module under settings by clicking the add tab as shown here and then start entering the person's email address. So within BIM 360, roles are the means of indicating the member's job title within the project or organization. Roles can also be leveraged to standardize permissions and workflow settings. They provide administrators with control to ensure that each member only has access to the service that they need to complete their tasks. The account admin can add new roles, remove roles, and also edit existing roles. As an example, a BIM manager may have access to everything, whilst a civil engineer might only have access to docs and coordinate. So next, I will be showing you the various steps to set up BIM 360 design. And I will do this in a visual workflow chart to help you get a better idea of the overall process. So note that this visual workflow is intended for Revit workflows. Many of the initial steps, however, can also apply to Civil 3D workflows, but the primary focus is for Revit users. So it starts with the account admin starting a new project. Then looking at the project team, are the members working internally only, or do they consist of both internal and external members? For internal members only, you need to confirm that all members are entitled. For internal and external members, you need to confirm that both the internal and members are entitled and that the external members can bring entitlements. And this is something that I will just touch on a bit later. Once you've done this, you invite all team members. The next step is to establish whether the team does collaborate on cloud models or not. If no, you continue to setting up the folders in the document management model, whereafter documents can be uploaded to document management and your setup is complete. If the team does collaborate on cloud models, which is what we will be discussing today, you have to activate the design collaboration module and then set up the folders in the document management module. After you've done this, you will start adding the teams. For example, the architects, the structural engineer, the mechanical engineer, etc. And you will add team members. You will then need to initiate the worksheet models from Revit. Once you've done this, teams might either use one of three linking methods: live linking, linking with a shared method, or linking with a consumed method. Now, should teams be using the live linking method, they continue to link to the models in the team folders in Revit. Should they be linking with the shared method, they will continue to publish the models, they will build the package, they will share the package, and they will head over to link to the models in the shared folder in Revit. If teams are linking with the consumed method, they will publish the models, they will build the package, they will share the package, they will consume the package, and link to the models in the consumed folder in Revit. And once this has been done, your setup is complete and you can get to work. Next, I want to briefly touch on a policy unique to BIM 360 design. And this does not apply to any other BIM 360 product subscriptions. And this is called Bring Your Own Subscription. So this policy defines access to BIM 360 design modules and services. And with this, project administrators can invite other subscribers of BIM 360 design, internal or external to the company, to join a BIM 360 design project without having to assign one of their own subscriptions. So let's move into project setup. To start and set up a new project in BIM 360 design, we will look at the next steps. We will create a project. You will enable services, and this includes document management and design collaboration. You will invite other project admins. You will invite project members. You will create team spaces or folders. You will add members to these team spaces. And finally, initialize at least one Revit model to the cloud project. And it's also important to set the release version. So next, I'll be showing you a video of how the creation of a new project is done. So it essentially starts by the account admin in the account admin module, selecting the project tab. Under the project directly, you select add. So a project profile dialog pops open, and this is where you will need to enter all the details of the project. Now, it is recommended that you fill out all the project information at this stage. However, a project admin can also return back to this later and enter all the other information. At this stage, it's only really the project name and project type that is required. So you will start by entering your unique project name, and then you'll also select your project type from the drop-down menu. It is also helpful for you to add an image to identify your project with, if it shows in the list in the project directory. So there you will go and add your image. And once you've done this, you will scroll down and save and continue. So once we've done this, we are automatically redirected back to the project administration module. And this is where we will need to activate the services for this specific project. So document management is a requirement. By clicking activate, you either have one of two options. The first is to apply a project template, and this is something that you might have done in a previous project or another project in BIM 360 design. Or alternatively, you may skip using a project template and choose to not use a project template. Just note, as the one activating these project services, you are by default listed as the project admin. This can, however, be changed at a later stage. Once we click activate, just note that this is actually your only opportunity that you have to assign a template. Once the service is activated, you cannot retroactively apply a template. Okay, so we are then directed back to the project admin module, and here is where we will select all of the other services that we want to include for this specific project. Just note that if we want to use Revit Cloud work sharing in this project, we also need to activate design collaboration. So once we've done this, we will be then directed back to the administration module, and we will also be able to see our newly added project at the bottom of the project directory list. Great, so let's now have a look at the step of adding another project admin and also project members. Remember that the initial first project admin was already established when the project was created and services activated. So to add project admins and project members, the project admin will go to the project admin module under the members tab and select add. Next, you will simply type in the names of the members or the admins that you wish to add. BIM 360 recognizes members from the account member directory and fills in the name, which can then be selected. You can also add a new member here with the email who is not already listed in the account member directory. If you do, they will be automatically added to the account member directory. So for each member added to the project, their company and role will automatically be added based on what shows in the account member directory. Companies or roles can be changed here as well. Roles, we remember, establish the member's access level to various services in the project. So there are 3 levels of access. It's either no access, member access, or administrator access. So designating another project admin simply means you toggle the administrator access on for that selected person. All members added to the project will then receive a welcome email notification. Admins can add and delete members as needed throughout the course of the project, as well as make changes to the information and access. Just note that project members who are invited might need to look in their junk mail for the invitation email, as this sometimes happens. So when a new project is created, and if a project template is not used, the new project will have 2 default folders. It's the plans and project files. Remember to always add the team folders under the project files. You can add these folders by highlighting project files and selecting the dots and then the add SAP folder. The naming convention used in this example for the team folders includes starting each name with an underscore, then the discipline, and then the name of the company. For example, underscore arc-MVDC. So what this does is that the underscore helps to sort the list, keeping the team folders at the top of the list and then additional folders at the bottom, since the list is sorted alphabetically. You will notice here that the additional folders are also created at the bottom, and in this example, it's specs and site photos. So there's a third way to build out folders. The first was to already have them established in a project template and to use that template when creating a new project. The second we just discussed, and that is to create them one at a time in BIM 360 docs. So the third way uses Desktop Connector. Now, this is a free app from Autodesk, and it connects your Windows desktop with your BIM 360 docs account. So in a local working folder using Windows File Explorer, you can create all the folders and subfolders that you wish to want in the project. In an adjacent section of the File Explorer, you navigate to your Desktop Connector and you select the correct account and project. Then, from the first window, you simply select all the folders and you drag and drop them into your Desktop Connector. This then adds those folders to the BIM 360 docs in your project. It's really a must-have. Okay, so now that we've created the folders, including the team folders, we need to create the actual teams, associating the teams to their respective folders. So let's review these steps in the next video. So in the document management module, you will expand project files. And here we can see that all the folders that we've added so far. It's the team folders at the top, and then also the additional folders at the bottom. Note that because we've used an underscore in front of the team folders, they appear at the top of the list, while the additional folders shows up at the bottom of the list. So when you expand a team folder, you will also then see that I've added a subfolder. Let's just do that. And this is quite helpful. It's called supplementary files, and this is quite useful if you want to add any files into which you wish to include in a package. Now, just to mention, packages along with Revit linking methods is something that is covered in our BIM 360 training. So note that so far we've only created team folders, and that the next step we will have to add the actual teams and also add members to these teams. Okay, so for the sake of time, I just want to fast forward this video a little bit. Great, so the project admin then will go to the project admin module. You will select the design collaboration in the left-hand panel. You will select teams and then select add a team. Just note that because we've already created the corresponding folders, we can select each team folder through the link at the bottom. So when we click open up the link, we will be able to start adding the first team. We will select it and select add team. This is then a process that we will repeat for the other teams as well. Under the project files, you will open it up and you will select the second team and click add team. We will then add the last team. Great, so once this has been done and we close, we will be able to see all the new teams that we've added. We will also be able to see the path of the folder in docs and also the current members. So by clicking the current members, we will see that by default, the project admins are already members of the team. So let's then start by adding a new team member by entering their name. And then we can also set their permission level according to what we want it to be. So once we've done that, we will click on add and we will repeat the process for the other team members as well. Great. So once we've added the team members to that particular team, we will carry on to the next teams and repeat the same process for them as well. Cool. So just note that when teams are created, BIM 360 automatically adds some important folders in the document management module. You will see a new folder there called shared, and we'll also see that if you drop down, you will see your team subfolders, and this is used for shared packages. And if you continue to open up each team folder, you will see that there's a consume subfolder underneath each teams folder. And this is what teams use to consume a package. Okay, so next we will have a look at the various permission levels. So we can think of it as a pyramid of capability, with the top here being the least capabilities to the base with the most capabilities granted. The permission levels include the view only, which means that the user, the role, or the company may view documents, they can add private markups, and also create issues. Just note that view-only permissions have the following limitations. They can't view image files, and you can also not use the desktop connector. So under view and download, you might be able to view documents, you can add private markups, and also create issues. For upload only, you may upload documents, but you may not be able to see the folder contents. If users are permitted to view and download and upload, they may share their own documents with team members and view any other documents in that folder. For view, download, upload, and edit, they may share their own documents with team members. They may view and edit any other documents in that folder and also publish markups. For folder control, they may share their own documents with team members and also view and edit any other documents in that folder. So with folder control permission, they can also carry out tasks within that folder that are usually restricted to the project administrator. This includes creating title blocks, adding project members, managing permissions, and also editing set assignment. The permission level offers the greatest access to folders. It is also then recommended that the project admin set the Revit release version for the cloud project. Revit Cloud Collaboration in BIM 360 Docs works with Revit 2018.3 and newer. What is important, like for any Revit project, is that the determination is made as to which version of Revit will be used for the project. For example, if Revit 2021 is going to be used for the project, all teams need to ensure to be in Revit 2021, and preferably with the latest update to that release. This determination is especially important for a cloud project, since the first Revit module initialized to this cloud project sets the Revit version for the project. So the project admin would be well advised to initiate one module to the project early on to set the Revit version to be used. This can be a model for the project or either a temporary model which can be deleted later. Therefore, it's advised that you stick to your version and make sure that everyone is on the latest service pack. Okay, so if we review, we've covered the following steps. We've created a new project. We've activated services. We've added project admins and members. We created folders and teams, and we also looked at permissions. Lastly, we set the project's Revit version by initiating the first Revit module. So let's lastly look at administering best practices. So first of all, it's good to establish a process for users to request entitlements to BIM 360 Design or other Autodesk products. It is advisable to have more than one account admin in order to avoid bottlenecks. Also, add frequent consultants to the company's list. Then once again, have more than one project admin in order to avoid bottlenecks. Other considerations are to define the level of detail, also known as the LOD, required for each stage of development, as this may influence your folder structure. And then a very important is that you keep your desktop connector current and updated. So if you have the desktop connector, you will every now and then get a notification on updates and make sure that this is all up to date. Okay, so this brings us to the end of the session, and I will just give you a quick list of some useful resources and links which you can go and check out. I've also shared it in the chat box, and you're welcome to go and have a look. I can just mention that the BIM 360 Ideas Forum is quite nice to go and have a look at, as this is where you can post any ideas or developments that you would like to see. You can also vote for other people's ideas. BIM 360 help is also quite insightful, and you may find a lot of answers to some of your questions here. It also has various links and updates that you can go and check out. Great, so this brings us to the end of our session, and I would like to give an opportunity for any questions that someone might have. Feel free to just pop them in the question chat box. I'm just going to give it a minute or so. Okay, so I see that there's no questions at this stage. So I might start by giving you some frequently asked questions, and that is, some people want to know what's the pricing on the product, and for that you can head over to our Baker Baines website and also have a look under our e-store with all the available products and pricing. I see we've got a question there. Just want to scroll up a little bit. Yanni, thank you for your question. She asks, does this work with other products like Civil 3D? Yes, to answer your question, yes, it does. So on that, I would just like to mention that people also ask what entitlements and services are included in BIM 360 design. So if you have a subscription to BIM 360 design, it includes entitlements like Revit cloud work sharing, collaboration for Civil 3D, collaboration for Plant 3D, and also BIM 360 team. If you have a subscription to BIM 360 design, the services and modules that are housed within the BIM 360 design is BIM 360 document management, BIM 360 design collaboration, Revit cloud work sharing, collaboration for Civil 3D, and then also collaboration for Plant 3D. So to answer your question on the collaborations for Civil 3D, it is an entitlement that is connected, that connects the Civil 3D to BIM 360 document management. Any other questions? Okay, so people also ask, how much storage do I get with BIM 360 design? And that is really unlimited storage in the BIM 360 platform. If you want to go and try out BIM 360 design before actually purchasing the product, you can also go and sign up for the free trial, and you will find that in the links that I've shared in the chat box. Okay, so I don't see any other questions. So this brings us to the end of our session. I would just like to mention then that Baker Baines offers a support desk for all of our customers, and this offers you support for any questions that you may have. You will see that our office hours are from Monday to Friday between 8 and 11:30 in the evening, and also you can see our contact details on the screen. Then for any other information on Baker Baines, go check out our website, email us, call us, and also be sure to follow us on social media for all our latest news and updates. Okay, so then thank you once again for joining me. Feel free to reach out to me should you want. My details are shared on the screen. And then I wish you all a great weekend.